uwager.lv, Sportsbook, and Casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on a happy Monday edition. Hopefully, happy Monday edition as I'm watching the Rays game right now. They're up over the Blue Jays 6-3. How do we start off the Sports Web on a Monday night? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. On tonight's show, we'll have JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show, which can be seen and heard here Monday through Fridays on Facebook and YouTube, talking about what else? The Tampa Bay Rays ownership situation, possibly selling. We'll get the latest on that. Also talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Greg Schiano with some comments. And then after that, we'll take some phone calls and we'll see how long it goes because we'll keep you abreast of this situation with the Tampa Bay Rays in the top of the ninth right now, beating the Toronto Blue Jays 6-3. The phone number to get in. You love it. You got to have it. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Let's go out to the comments. Troy says first. All right. Thank you very much, Troy. As always, for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
And just for, old time's sake, I know you're going to troll me tonight, so here you go.
This guy sucks.
All right, let's go out to Roger. Who cares about the Rays and the Bucs? Au contraire, my friend. Welcome to the Evolution, the Sports Web, a Tampa Bay sports fan's dream. We care about them. Who cares about you?
Shut up!
Just kidding. I care about you. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Acknowledge me.
Roger says, hurry up. Raw is on. Harry needs to watch main event. Harry's not going to be with us tonight. Christopher Cole says, good evening, guys. What's going on? Christopher.
Oh, yeah.
And let's go out to Roger Shue. Hello, Christopher Cole. Once again, top of the ninth. Pete Fairbanks is in. 2 men on. Looks like 2 outs. Again, we'll keep you updated on the situation. Let's go ahead and get this man on right now. We'll go ahead and get some walk-up music on. Here we go. Let's go out to Mr. JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show, which can be seen and heard here on Facebook and YouTube every day from 10 to 12 as both of us right now. And I can tell you're watching it. I'm watching it. And the first thing I'm going to say is hopefully the Rays in this bullpen doesn't blow it. 2 men on, 1 out, and you got Danny Jansen at the plate here. I mean, give me your thoughts right now. Fairbanks looks okay with the first strike. Well, no, they didn't call that a strike. Okay, that's a strike. So, JP, welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
What's up, Peter? How you doing, brother? Yeah,
Doing good.
This bullpen's been shaky, dog. I don't know every pitch, man. I'm just nervous. I'm just nervous. The tying run is at the plate. This feels a lot like Pete Alonso the other night.
Yeah, it does, and that was heartbreaking. And the funny thing is, we had Roberto Hernandez, and we kept on saying the Rays are up, the Rays are up. And Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper extraordinaire, my co-host, told me that Roberto is a Mets fan. So, of course, the Mets end up beating the Tampa Bay Rays, of course, 8-7 with Pete Alonso doing the honors with a 3-run shot. So maybe not necessarily a great thing to tease a guy that's the all-time Rays closing leader there and Hernandez, because he had the last laugh with the Mets. But speaking of the Tampa Bay Rays, and goodness gracious, he keeps on hanging that pitch. All right, it's a foul ball. JP, what's the latest on this ownership situation? We hear now that Stu is looking at selling the team, not only to potential, Tampa Bay buyers, relocation possibly. What's the latest on this Tampa Bay Rays team in the selling situation?
Peter, how many times have I told you? Yeah. Don't read the Tampa Bay Times.
Okay.
Let's call it the Slant P Times. Okay. Don't read the Slant P Times. John Romano, God bless him. I don't know if he's just is a mouthpiece for Stu Sternberg or whatever, but he keeps writing that there's possible relocation. Somebody's going to come in and buy the team. It's just not happening. The Major League Baseball is not, they've said it multiple times. They're not leaving this market. It's the 11th largest media market with the 17th largest media market an hour down the road. They're not going to Nashville because Nashville is going to get an expansion team where the owners can split $2.5 billion in an expansion fee instead of $1 billion in a relocation fee. Plus, these owners have to approve Stu Sternberg moving his ball club. Why would they approve him moving his ball club to get less money from the city? It makes no sense. All these people that just assume that they could come in here and buy the team and leave, it's not going to work that way. Major League Baseball, the owners are not going to allow that unless they come up with some scheme where they can make more money. And they want Nashville to be in the bidding for an expansion team because that drives the price up against the other cities that the suitors that are trying to get expansion teams. So they're going to get the deal done. And I talked to somebody again today who's very much in the know in this process. And just like Ken Hagan told me a couple of months ago, the game that's being played in St. Petersburg is not the game you think it is. Okay. That's what I'm saying. All this stuff that's going on in St. Pete and everything you read in the paper, according to the people that really, really know, it's all smoke and mirrors. And that's what I've been saying for a long, long time. Major League Baseball wants the stadium in Tampa. That's where there will be the much higher projected revenues with the premium seating. Oh crap!
Yep.
I don't know if I'm ahead of you or behind you on my stream.
You're behind me because now it's 6-4 with the base hit to left field. So now you got two men on, still only one out with Pete Fairbanks pitching, and
two outs.
Two outs now, excuse me. Okay.
2 outs.
2 outs, trying to produce the show, trying to watch the game at the same time.
Not easy to do.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. So 6-4 right now. Your Tampa Bay Rays are still winning this game, but
So in case people don't know, the Rays met with Hillsborough County last Thursday. And Hillsborough County, Ken Hagan came on my show. They're about 2 months away from having a very solid plan in place that they're going to present to the Rays. It's my feeling that Major League Baseball wants them in Tampa, and Stu Sternberg has hoodwinked the people of St. Petersburg thinking that he's going to build a stadium there. Ken Welch gave him the development rights along with Hines, his developer partner, but did not demand that he build the stadium there as part of that agreement. I mean, why would you make an agreement with a baseball team and give them the development rights with them assuring you in writing in a contract that they were going to build a stadium there? Because he's not going to do it. He's going to take the best deal he can in Tampa, and that's where the Major League Baseball owners want him to go, because people need to understand this, that they've been getting revenue sharing dollars from all these other owners in the tune of $30, $40, $50 million a year. Right. And these other owners are tired of paying that, and they've figured out that he hasn't marketed the team, which is why he has lower local revenues. And did you notice that they're marketing the team this year? They're doing a lot of different things. They're discounting tickets, all those things. That's, in my opinion, Major League Baseball found out what he was doing and said, no, we're going to run the marketing department. We're going to do these things. We're going to get more local revenue in, so we pay you less. And I think this new ownership group, quote, ownership group, Dan Doyle, from what I've been told, he was not pleased that this news got out there because he wanted to buy the Rays outright. And he put together a group to do so. This is according to my sources. And basically Stu said, yesterday's price is not today's price. The price has gone up. And
well, that sounds like Stu to me. And to say, the Rays.
Dan Doyle doesn't have the money to buy the team.
Right.
And he doesn't want it out there that he wants to buy the team because he knows he doesn't have the money to buy it. He might be able to get a few more partners to do so, but I think at this point he may be more of a partner coming in and buying a part of the franchise, but not getting controlling interest. So I don't think Dan Doyle is the savior to come in and buy the team outright and get the deal done in Tampa. I still think that Stu's going to get the stadium deal done and then sell the team.
I'm not shaking my head at you. I'm shaking my head at what we're watching right now. Bases loaded. Pete Fairbanks trying to do his best impression of how to give somebody or give a Rays fan a heart attack. We're on with JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show. You got Bo Bichette up here. Bases loaded once again. Top of the ninth. Rays winning 6-4 over the Toronto Blue Jays. 0-1 now from Fairbanks. And you talk about Mr. Doyle. He's the founder and CEO of Dex Imaging, a Tampa-based company that proclaims to be the nation's largest independent provider of office technology with a local touch. And going back to Stu, again, this team is worth $1 billion, $2 billion at least. Everybody's saying, this team has no money, they're not worth anything, is hogwash. And like we talked about, the owners and the revenue sharing from the Yankees, from the Red Sox, from the big market clubs have been giving this franchise money for years. So this whole thing of the Rays are poor, this and that, now that they know what they're doing. They know how to make business decisions. I wish we've gone over this before. I wish they would do more when it comes to spending money and salary cap. We got 1 and 2 here. You may be a little bit behind me, so I'm going to call it here. Let's see it. Fairbanks, bouncer to first. Rays win. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. There you go. They close it out. The Rays are now 35-14, 6-4 over the Toronto Blue Jays. Fairbanks with a save. Again, this edition of the Sports Web brought to you by Tums, because everybody watching this game tonight lots of heartburn. So with that being said, I talked to Roberto Hernandez the other day, and he was, I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if you saw the comments, but he was basically saying, the stuff that Randy Arozarena and other players around the league, they wouldn't be able to get away with it. Where do you stand on this? Because there's a part of me that says this is good for baseball. I love what Randy's doing. I love how this team is coming together. I love the youth and exuberance of it. And then there's a part of me that says, you know what, you can't showboat. And he had a great point. You're not able to do this if Nolan Ryan were around. You're not able to do this if Roger Clemens or, Black Jack McDowell or Jack Morris were pitching. So where do you stand on it, JP?
Well, listen, I think that's kind of archaic. As much as I love Nolan Ryan and those guys you mentioned, I think those days are over. And, I'll point to, who the Savannah Bananas are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Savannah Bananas just spent 2 days in Steinbrenner Stadium, packed the house out. You couldn't get a ticket. Over 28,000 tickets sold. You know what they do? They're not the greatest baseball players in the world. They're entertaining. They're extremely entertaining. And if whatever and the things that they do out on the baseball field, oh my God, Nolan Ryan would have hit all of them, drilled them all.
Right.
I'm sorry, it's archaic. It's yesterday's news. Just because Nolan Ryan did it and these other guys did it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Baseball needs to be more entertaining. It doesn't bother me that what Randy is doing. As long as you're not putting it in the face of the other team, I'm fine with that. Sometimes he stands on third base, and I think he does that to the third base coach, which may look like he's doing it to the other dugout. I don't see it that way. I think he's just, he's playing and he's having fun playing the game. What the hell's wrong with that? Is there a fine line? I think when you start really pointing at the other team and doing stuff like that. But if you're just celebrating with your dugout, you flip a bat, stuff like that, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't have a problem with it. I saw something the other day from went viral on the web. I think it was a high school kid or maybe a small college guy was skipping around the bases and doing stupid stuff, and then looked into the other dugout, and made some crude gesture. That's over the top. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. That's showing up the opponent. If you're just having fun and celebrating by yourself, I don't have a problem with it. And I think, Roberto obviously played the game at a different time, and he learned it from different people, and what's respectful and what's not. I just think some of those are just I think baseball needs to be more entertaining, and the Savannah Bananas are a perfect example of what they're doing. They're out there dancing. They're having fun. They're getting the crowd involved, doing all the umpires dancing, doing crazy stuff. I'm not saying Major League Baseball should take it to that level. My point being is, what's so bad about having fun and being entertaining in a baseball game? And I think people just take it way too seriously. It's baseball. It's entertainment. This is not, I shouldn't, all these unwritten rules. I mean,
what? I never heard of that. What is an unwritten rule when it's not a rule? I mean, it's not written. What does that mean? Like, I don't know. I've always followed that. We're on with JP Peterson.
You can't stare at a home run.
Right.
You need to just, once you hit a home run, you need to put your head down and run the bases. If not, I'm going to throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball at your head. What? What? What are we talking about here? Jesus Christ. Lighten up, Francis. I mean, my God, crazy.
Yes.
Like, you show me up like that. If you don't put your head down and run around the bases, I'm going to hit you in the head with a 100-mile-an-hour. How stupid is that, Peter?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, Roberto. I love you. I understand you came from a different time and you learned the game differently. I get it. But it's time, things evolve. Baseball needs to evolve into a more entertaining game. Sorry.
And I think the most interesting point from him is he said you can celebrate, just don't show up the pitcher. But he also had this to say, JP, that Major League Baseball is kind of promoting it. Is that what you get out of this? That
sure.
With all the marketing, with what the NBA is doing, the NFL, celebrations and everything like that. Do you think Major League Baseball is also promoting it?
Of course they are. Peter, you're going to put together a promo of guys hitting home runs and putting their head down and running around the bases?
No.
No. You're going to show Randy Rosarena crossing his arms, guys jumping up and down and celebrating, flipping bats. That's entertainment. That's, we have to market this to a next generation. If you haven't noticed, the next generation, their attention span's about 3 seconds. And you gotta, if this game is going to thrive and survive, it's got to be more entertaining. And that's part of the entertainment package in my estimation.
You're exactly right. We're on with JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show, which can be heard and seen here on Facebook and YouTube. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here live on I Love St. Pete, Amped Up Sports, and The Hub. Luke Raley had some T-shirts made in rebuttal to the recent skepticism by WFAN 660. Said Raley, everyone gets the message. That video, it hit us, so we wanted to own it. Keep doubting us, so we're going to come out and keep playing good baseball. You got to love this, because this kind of and I don't want to compare both teams, but this kind of goes back to 2008 for me. And it started with, and I know you remember this, Johnny Gomes standing up in spring training and trying to fight a Yankee player, trying to fight the whole team. And that, to me, what was it, 9=8, something along those lines? I feel like not only with their performance last year in the postseason, but with those comments by WFAN and those jokers there, this is going to only motivate this team no matter how many injuries they have to that starting pitching staff. This team, they got a chip on their shoulder this year, JP.
Oh, yeah. Big thanks to Carton and Roberts there at WFAN for giving the Rays a rallying call, the cheaters. I don't know what exactly did the T-shirt say that Raley had made? Do you know?
It's I had it. Let me go ahead and look that up really quick here, because let's see. I'm looking right now, so let me go ahead and look. I
probably shouldn't ask you that question live on the air, but anyway.
No. Okay, that's what we do here. Producing live on the sports web. But he actually had a home run tonight.
Yeah, he did.
Randy Rosarena had a home run tonight. He also had a double. I mean, both of these players. And then also you talk about Josh Lowe and how tremendous he's been. Kind of talk about some of these players, especially Randy, because we talk about the celebrations. But at the end of the day, you're not able to celebrate if you're not doing it on the field. And clearly right now, in my opinion, he's an MVP candidate for the Tampa Bay Rays. Just mark it down.
Yeah, listen, and this is the first season he's ever really dug into the scouting report and kind of looked at the way pitchers are trying to get him out. That's a big deal. I mean, that's really golden information, and you can use it to your benefit, obviously. And now that Randy's finally doing that, you're seeing him go the opposite way because teams were trying to pitch him away. So he's that's a huge adjustment that he's made. That's going to make him way more consistent, and that, those OPS of 500, 600 1 month and over 1,000 the next month, hopefully will go away and he'll be much more consistent now that he knows how pitchers are trying to attack him. I just think he's become a smarter baseball player this year. And Josh Lowe, I mean, he's always had the talent, right? He just didn't have his mind right last year. And he said as much. He said it's just, it was hard. There was a lot of pressure and, trying to replace Austin Meadows in the 106 RBIs. It was too much to him. So he kind of relaxed, took a little different perspective, tweaked his swing a little bit. And now I think I heard BA say today he's the only player in Major League Baseball to have 10 or more home runs, 10 or more steals, 30 RBIs. I mean, this guy is also an MVP candidate, and he hasn't even been playing, on an everyday basis, more and more now. But he's just phenomenal, and I see a lot of Kyle Tucker in him. And, if he can reach those levels, because, Kyle's obviously a superstar in this league already, and they're very similar. Big, tall, fast, athletic kids. I think Kyle's 6'4", Josh is 6'3". I mean, his ceiling is just, it's extremely high. I think he can one day win an MVP. I mean, because this is not a small sample size right now. We're 7 weeks into the season, and he's still doing this. Yandy Diaz, him being in the lineup makes such a difference. Just the way he takes pitches. Obviously, batting average has been up there among the leaders all year long. Randy, 308, 11 home runs, 37 RBIs. That's 6 in the American League. He's been phenomenal. Itzhak Paredes has been great in terms of the offense. Even Brandon Lau now is coming back a little bit, showing a little bit of pop. So this offense has just been phenomenal, and I just don't see it slowing down. I just don't.
All right, I gotta read the shirt here. It says Tampa Journeyman. Hello, what? You remember what's because they were saying, who's this guy? I know this guy. He's not.
Hello, Christian Bethencourt.
Hello, what?
Taylor Walls.
What?
I mean, come on. Do some research, boys.
There you go. Right there, little John. We're on with JP Peterson here of the JP Peterson Show. You talk about Jose Siri, another home run tonight, just a bomb. And a lot of people were talking about Kevin Kiermaier, his return. Of course, Wander Franco found out really quick. Listen, Kevin may not be able to hit. He wasn't a hitter here, maybe with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's been raking. And Roberto even said we had him on the other night. The reason why he didn't work out here is because he didn't use left field. He was trying to pull everything all the time. So now that seems like it turned around. But the one thing you can never say bad about Kiermaier was his defense, and the sheriff out in center field tonight gunned down Wander Franco. But talk about Siri a little bit, because to me, he's definitely, worth the price of admission at the end of the day. You get rid of Kiermaier, who's a fan favorite. Siri's a lot cheaper. He's played a lot better, and he's shown something that I think a lot of Rays fans didn't think he had. That's power. Yeah, that's 7 home runs already this year. The Rays somehow have found a way to get more power out of him. He's hitting for a higher average as well. The defense, I don't see much of a drop off from Kiermaier, and as you mentioned, he makes $12 million less. Now, if they would just put that back into the team, it would be great. But they keep that payroll right at $70 million.
Sure.
And rarely go over it. So if ever. So, I mean, it's what the Rays do. They go find players that are cheaper and just as good, and that means it doesn't matter how popular you are. Bye-bye, Kevin Kiermaier. But, no, I don't think anybody, even though Kevin's hitting over 300 now, I don't think anybody's, sitting here, lamenting the fact that he's gone and, one of their favorite. I think obviously he was a very popular player, and that kind of sucks. But, from a baseball standpoint, obviously it hasn't hurt the Rays.
No, it definitely hasn't hurt the Rays. Now, I want to switch gears to football. First and foremost, we talked about the schedule. Were you surprised that the Bucs got a couple primetime games? Because we heard from Peter King. He continues to say how bad this team is going to be, especially offensively, whether it's Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. So, he keeps on going in on that. But were you surprised, JP, that the Bucs got 2 primetime games on this schedule? And how do you see the schedule working out for them? To me, it's easy to look at the second half and say, wow, they got a lot of road games. Okay, but JP, they play a lot of young quarterbacks, so that may actually be an advantage to Todd Bowles' defense. What do you say?
I think it's a very manageable schedule. ranked 22nd in strength of schedule. So that's fantastic. That's in the second part of the season. They're going to face a lot of young quarterbacks, and so a lot of I don't want to call anybody a mediocre team because the Bucs are they look a little mediocre as well to many. Right. But I think there's opportunities here to win 9-10 games, and I think that's going to get it done in terms of winning the NFC South. So. I think they're going to be better than people think. I think Baker Mayfield wins the job. Although I was with Titus O'Neil today, who, of course, played for the Gators as Thaddeus Bullard. Mm-hmm. And Titus seems to think that his fellow Gator, Kyle Trask, is going to win the job. So I said, hey, listen, and I think Trask, I can't wait to see him play. I wish I saw him play in the Atlanta game, the full Atlanta game. But I'm interested to see what he looks like because they'll be out there tomorrow for OTAs. We'll be able to check him out. He's thinned down. He's become more athletic, and he was more of an athlete than I think people gave him credit for at Florida. But I still think Baker's got such a huge advantage, having been in this league for 5 years and run a version of the offense that they're going to be running, I think is a huge advantage. And he's got a hell of an arm. He can move. He's healthy again. I think he's humbled himself. That press conference showed me that. I think he's being well accepted by his teammates. So yeah, I think Baker's got the inside shot to win this job, and I think it's going to be infinitely more entertaining watching him roll out, get out of the pocket, make some plays, do the bootlegs and the waggles and all those things that mobile quarterbacks can do. The run pass option. This offense, I think, it will be 4 to 6 points better than last year's offense, at least. And I can't wait to see it. I think they got a lot of good weapons. Baker can throw the ball. He's accurate. When he's got a running game, he doesn't turn the ball over. He'll have a running game. I think his offensive line is better than people think. My only question mark on this team, Peter, is the head coach. That's what has me a little scared, that I think this roster is good enough to win 9-10 games, but the way Todd Bowles managed games last year, the way he managed the culture of the team with very little accountability for anybody who was making mistakes, the way he's coddled Devin White, he doesn't call out players publicly, which I think is, in this day and age, is not good. I think these guys are terrified of that in the day of social media, and I think it makes them more accountable. I think it makes them play harder. And they know that Todd Bowles is never going to do that to him. So I don't know. He as much as I love Todd as a human being, I think he's an incredible role model. He's got his, went out and got his graduation, spoke at the graduation of Mount St. Mary's. Can't say enough good things about him as a human being. But as a head coach, his record is not good. And what I saw last year in terms of managing the game and setting a culture did not impress me at all.
It didn't impress you. What I think the Bucs and this organization are banking on is that they could be the version of the Seattle Seahawks from 2022, right? I mean, everybody is ruling them out. You lose Russell Wilson. Everybody's like, well, Seattle's going to be a dumpster fire. Same thing could be said with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You lose Tom Brady. Now what? Well, you got Baker Mayfield. So maybe Dave Canales can turn around Baker Mayfield, make him into the starter, or Kyle Trask. I got to tell you, you're never going to fight with Titus O'Neil. I interviewed the guy. He's an intimidating factor. He's a big-time Florida Gator fan. I hope for his sake, us being Florida State fans, that the Gators do well for him, because you never want to piss that guy off at the end of the day. But you're not the only one. I'm not the only one that thinks Baker Mayfield is going to start for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2023. No, Rob Gronkowski says, I think Baker will win the quarterback position. Yeah. I think he'll be the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into the season. The only way I see the Bucs pulling him is if he just absolutely plays horrendous, which I don't think he will. And it's going to come down to that training camp. Jason Light has talked about this on a local radio station, saying, they may divide, not the carries, but the reps between both of those quarterbacks. And then in those game time situations where you have those 3 preseason games, you're going to really see who the quarterback is. But honestly, I see Baker Mayfield, too much potential there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kyle Trask is the guy. Rob Gronkowski says otherwise.
I think Gronk is right. I think Mayfield wins the job. And, for all those reasons I stated. And I think this offense can be way better than last year. I think I think it's a simplistic way that this national media is looking at this team is like, you get rid of Tom Brady, you bring in Baker Mayfield, you automatically have to be worse. That's just stupid. It's very naive, and it's very uninformed, because the reason this offense was so bad last year, 18 points a game, is because the quarterback couldn't move.
Yep.
Everybody knew where he was. Therefore, they didn't have much of a running game, because teams knew when we were going to run and knew when we were going to pass. There were no RPOs. It was just the most simplistic offense. And that offense was predicated on guys being able to beat their man and get open. Brady, having the time to get the ball out as these routes develop. And he either didn't have the time or threw the ball too early, dirted the ball. He didn't want to get hit. And you can't play quarterback in the NFL not wanting to get hit. I understand why he did it. He felt like if he did get hit, he was 15 pounds lighter. We all saw that last year. If he did get hit, he was probably going to get hurt. So he said, you know what? I'm going to live to fight another down. But after a while, teams get that. They understand it. They defend it. And that's why this offense was so awful last year. I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Tom Brady, but the offensive system, not having Byron Leftwich, a stubborn play caller to say the least, having an offensive line I think will be better this year with Donovan Smith out of there and Tristan Wirfs at left tackle.
Yep.
Ryan Jensen, Matt Filer is probably going to play left guard. And listen, I think the offensive line's good. I think Rachaad White's going to be much better. He'll have a better opportunity. So, and of course, you got Evans and Godwin and Russell Gage and some good receivers as well. So I just think this offense will probably be 6 to 7 points better than last year. And hopefully the defense, they spent a lot of money on draft picks on that side. They can answer the bell as well.
Yeah, they could definitely answer the bell at the end of the day, and they're going to need to answer the bell. I know you got to run here in just a little bit, and I appreciate the time, JP Peterson. But, for me, the offensive line is probably the most exciting aspect of this team, because there is going to be so much competition. Yeah. And you're exactly right. Not having Donovan Smith on this offensive line, by the way, good luck to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. That is the human turnstile at the end of the day. He has not played as well as he did in 2020. In fact, he has regressed much like Devin White, to say the least. Our old friend Tom Brady, according to Mark Davis, told ESPN's Paul Gutierrez, "We have come to an agreement for Tom Brady to become a partner in the Raiders, and we have submitted it to the NFL for approval. We're excited for Tom to join the Raiders. It's exciting because he will just be the third player in history of the National Football League to become an owner." Your thoughts, because I know there's going to be people out there that are going to assume, the rumor situation, Josh McDaniels, Jimmy Garoppolo and his injury history. With him owning the team, I don't think he comes back, but there's always going to be that rumor. What do you think of this whole situation with Tom Brady? And to that factor, should the Glazers have offered maybe Tom Brady a stake in this franchise at the end of the day, in your opinion?
Well, for what? Why would they do that? So he'll keep playing for the Buccaneers? I don't want him to play for the Buccaneers anymore. I've seen enough. And if he wants to come back with the Raiders, it's going to look the same way. He's done. You can't play quarterback not wanting to get hit. Look at the interception in the playoff game.
Yeah.
He was throwing the ball away. He was so scared to get hit, he didn't even put enough juice on it to get it out of the end zone. It's embarrassing. He's the greatest to ever do it, but that was embarrassing.
Yeah.
If he wants to come back and play good, the Raiders are going to suck. I don't see it. I would ask the other teams, if Brady's going to be the lead announcer for Fox and has a financial interest in the Raiders, are you allowing him into your production meetings and telling him about all the things that you're doing? I don't think so. I predicted this, last year that he's never going to do a game for Fox. I don't think he will. How can he be a part owner of a team and be an unbiased, the number one team on Fox doing the games? I don't see how that works. So
I don't either. And I don't see how it works with the NFL joining up with Las Vegas and all the gambling situation that's gone on. Look, you get in bed with Las Vegas and gambling, that's what's going to happen. But I agree with you. It's not going to happen. He's probably not going to work for Fox. We know that he wanted to have some part-time ownership with the Miami Dolphins. And I would say with the Bucs, it's always good to have Tom Brady associated with your franchise. because he is the greatest of all time. With the year last year, it was bad. He's seen his best days. He needs to stay retired. But being the GOAT and having him associated with the franchise, I think it's a good thing going forward. Just my opinion. With that being said, last question.
As I tell people many times, for all of you Buccaneer fans that, think Tom Brady signed up to be a Buccaneer and he bleeds pewter and red. No, he did it for his own benefit. He knew that this was the best place and the best roster who was ready to win a Super Bowl, a coaching staff that was, I think, a great fit for him, even though maybe he didn't like Bruce. But, hey, at the end, he wanted Bruce out and he thought Todd would do a better job. Well, once again, he was wrong. Brady's a great quarterback. He's the greatest who ever done it, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have any faults, and he's not wrong. He was wrong about that. Why you would, want to change when you won a Super Bowl with a guy, I don't know, but whatever. We thank Tom Brady. It was the greatest adventure of our life as Buccaneer fans. It was fantastic. The Super Bowl in our own stadium, never take that away from us. But, if you thought that, the Glazers were going to offer him, a piece of the franchise, he was going to stay in Tampa and live here. No, he was on his way to Miami before the playoff game was even played. No, thank you, Tampa Bay. It was fun, but bye-bye.
All right. So last question here. Greg Schiano, because I posted this on my Facebook page. First and foremost, you remember when he got hired? What's your worst memory of Greg Schiano? And the reason why I bring this up is because he was on the Adam Brenneman podcast and said in so many words, I wasn't prepared to coach in the National Football League. I mean, what's your worst memory of Greg Schiano in the era of coaching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I'll give you mine. It was probably the time he got hired, because before then they were supposed to go after Chip Kelly. And oh, by the way, it's not the first time the Bucs got assurance from a coach and then got left at the wedding altar. Bill Parcells twice, Steve Spurrier, Chip Kelly, not a big deal. But Greg Schiano at the time when they hired him, I was so angry about it that I actually started the YouTube channel. It was a god-awful broadcast, but everybody tried to convince me, this is a great hire. He's a defensive guy, kind of in the same mindset as Tony Dungy. And I said, no, it's not going to work out. They proceeded to get rid of LeGarrette Blount. They proceeded to get rid of Aqib Talib and lose so many games and, of course, run out Josh Freeman. What's your worst memory of Greg Schiano in that era of Buccaneer football?
I think it was such a disaster. Those on the line.
Right. Kellen Winslow Jr. Yeah. Ugh.
So I had a friend, he rest in peace, who was the hotel manager where the players were staying, right? And Schiano made his life a living hell. Like, he had to have, the omelet done a certain way. It had to arrive at his room at the same time every day, hot, and everything had to be perfect. This amount of onions, this amount of ham, whatever it was. And every meeting room had to be at 62 degrees. He would go around at night, do a bed check, and hand every player an individually wrapped piece of licorice. I mean, the dude was a crackpot, man. He was a complete loon.
Yeah.
I mean, he drove my poor friend crazy. And he's like, it's very prestigious to have your hotel be the home of the Buccaneers where they're staying for their training camp. He's like, hell no, we're never doing this again. This guy's bananas. It was, and if he didn't get his way, there was an extra green pepper in the omelet, somebody was going to pay for that. I mean, had no clue how to treat professional players, how anybody can come into the NFL like a bull in the china shop, having never been in the NFL, and think you're going to figure out a better way. It usually doesn't work. What a complete freaking. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Glazers hired him because Bill Belichick highly recommended him.
Right. By the way, Bill Belichick coaches on that coaching tree have been completely and totally awful. I mean, name a coach besides Mike Vrabel from Tennessee. Besides that, what other coach? Josh McDaniels has been terrible. I mean, just
Romeo Cornell, terrible. I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, go down the list. Yeah, it's been a disaster. But the Brian Flores might be a good coach if someone would give him another shot.
Agree. Well, if not for the Brian Flores situation, who knows? We may have seen Tom Brady not only as a minority owner, but possibly the potential quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
We know that's where he wanted to be. He certainly didn't want to be a Buccaneer.
That's it. Good stuff, JP. Thanks a lot for your time here. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
We're just Google the JP Peterson Show. We're on multiple platforms. RHS TV. If you download that app, you can get our show and all the archive show. We're also on YouTube. Go to our YouTube page. Subscribe to the JP Peterson Show on YouTube. We are also on Facebook and where else are we? I mentioned YouTube. And our app, FanStream Sports, all one word. Download the app. All you got to do is tap that app. You can listen to the show anytime, anywhere. You can listen live 10 to 12 or at noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock the next day, whenever you want to watch it. Also on Apple and Spotify, you can listen to it as well. So I think we're doing the Tampa Bay sports fans work each and every day, 2 hours. A lot like your show, all Tampa Bay sports centric. We love it. We're passionate about it. Check it out.
All right, good stuff. The JP Peterson Show, again, Monday through Friday, 10 to 12. It gets me through my sales job during the day, and that's saying a lot. If you have to deal with enough Esthers and Winifreds out there, you know what I mean. Thanks a lot for your time.
Love passion, man.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll see you soon. There you go, JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show. Open phone lines. I mean, you guys have been really quiet, and I get it. He's a great guest. But they're open phone lines if you want to call them up. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Your Tampa Bay Rays go on to beat the Toronto Blue Jays. So you could talk about that. That's always good to talk about. I know we like talking about baseball on this show. I also know we like talking about football on this show. Let's go back out to these comments and read them as we always do. Got a question for you guys tonight. I asked him, what is your worst Greg Schiano memory? Go down memory lane. Do you remember that? Do you remember that era of poor football? I will say something that came out of that era was the fact that the Bucs and the Glazers decided to go back into free agency and get the greatness that was, rest in peace, Mr. Vincent Jackson. Right? I mean, that's probably one of the only good things. They make a trade for Darrelle Revis. That was exciting. Give up a first-round pick. It became Sheldon Richardson from the New York Jets. He's coming off an injury, and you decide to play him in zone. That told you everything you needed to know. And then you run out Josh Freeman. You have the greatness of Mike Glennon. I mean, there's so many things and so many memories of that era. If you want to talk about it, definitely get on the phone line. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Corey says, at least Greg Schiano's defense was good. Top 10 better than Lovie Smith and Dirk Cutter. That's why Schiano stayed under contract, got fired. Smith and Cutter buyout. I don't think his defense was that good at all. That's the reason why they draft a Mark Barron over a Luke Kuechly. Not necessarily a great move. And that's why you trade for Darrelle Revis, because they were giving up all kinds of yards with that god-awful secondary at the end of the day, and they couldn't get after it. They could never get after the quarterback. And I'm trying to think of the player that they had at the time that they let go to the Seattle Seahawks who became a monster pass rusher, and I can't think of it right now. I know it'll come to me in just a moment. But I remember, and rest in peace to him, being over at 10:10 a.m. at the time with Steve White, saying this guy was going to be the guy. This guy was going to be their pass rusher specialist. He was the best pass rusher on the team. They should have given him a chance. And Mark Dominic and Greg Schiano decided to let him go. He went to Seattle. He went to Chicago, had some good years for both teams. I can't think of his name right now, and it's killing me. So no, they didn't have a great defense at all. They did not. What's going on, Mickey? Hi, Peter Blake. How you doing? What's going on, buddy? How are you doing?
Yeah.
Let's go out to Corey. Rays move to Orlando. I know everybody's talking about that. The Orlando Dreamers. What an awful name, by the way. Awful, awful name. I love Pat Williams and what he did for the Orlando Magic. And they're trying to put this deal together for $1.7 billion to, coax the Rays out of Tampa. I don't see that happening. And I hate the name Orlando Dreamers. I hate it. And plus this year, the Rays and their fans have shown that if you have a winning product on the field and you don't say anything about getting a new stadium and you cater to those fans, like Jeff Finnick did for the Tampa Bay Lightning, then you're going to have fan support. And they've been able to have fan support. You don't hear a lot about that this year, huh? The national media is real quiet on that. It's amazing how that works, right? And what they won't tell you is that the Rays never have any difficulty in drawing on the weekends. You know why? Because it's an event. People want to go. You make it an event. You cater to the fans. You drop parking. You drop ticket prices. You have Randyland. And boom, you got all your fans that want to come and support this. And that is not a hockey horn there, Mickey. That is a Rays horn when they hit a home run and they win games. So that's not a hockey horn. But it's amazing how that works. And again, going back to the rumors, and they just are rumors. At the end of the day, Stu wants the best deal for his team. We get that. We've known that for years. 5-10 years now we've known that. I mean, if Tampa wants to make a deal, make a deal. What's taking you so long? I mean, do they have more of a population there? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, if the redevelopment is what Stu and the Rays want, and that's what St. Pete is going to give them, and they're going to give them some type of big-time deal to build them a stadium, then it's going to work here. It's going to be in St. Pete until Tampa steps up. We'll see how it works. The focus is to keep this team in the Tampa Bay area, whether it's St. Pete, whether it's Tampa, no matter where it's at. It doesn't need to be in Orlando. Stop with the nonsense. It's not going to Orlando. Enough of that. That's not going to work. It's not. And I do not think that Major League Baseball will put a team in Orlando. But again, it's all about money, right? I mean, this league has struggled when it comes to attendance in the state of Florida. And a new stadium doesn't always mean it's not the end-all, be-all for fans to show up. Ask the Miami Marlins. They got a new stadium. They're still having problems. Why? Because they're not putting a competitive product out there. They're not spending the money, and they're not catering to their fans. Why? They got a new stadium. Okay, so now they can call it a night, call it a day. I'm curious to see when the Rays do get this new stadium, will there be more spent into this product? Just asking. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's see here. Let's see. Go ahead and call in if you want to, or chime in as my co-host is texting me right now, and I'm trying to produce the show. So, yeah, absolutely. Let's go out to Mickey. What's going on? Mickey again. No, they don't. Tampa Bay Rays need bullpen help, trading deadline. I mean, that would be where the focus is. And talking to Roberto the other night, he has confidence in this team. They'll get it done, but eventually, if you need another arm, are the Rays going to make that deal? I know we're early in the process, but these games are a little bit too close for comfort. At the end of the day, they are. And with all the injuries to that starting pitching staff, are you going to make that deal? Are you going to make a deal for another arm if you need to? Are you going to make a deal for another bat at the trading deadline? And that's a couple months away, but that's a good point. Are they going to do that? Are they going to go all in? I don't care what your record is. I don't care. I want you to go all in. I want you to do something a little bit different than what you've ever done in this baseball organization's journey to go to the postseason. I want to be prepared for the postseason. I want to have an extra pitcher. I want to have an extra hitter. I want to invest. I want you to invest in this product. I want you to go all in. That's what I want. It's a good question. Read the comments, bro. Stop skipping the comments, bro. Well, put something out there, bro, that I can actually read, bro.
This guy sucks.
I mean, every time we get on this program, you are the first one to go read the comments. What do you provide? What do you provide there, Coach Prime? We run in a poor. I mean, what is that? What is that? You used to be, you're just a troll. That's all you are. Hi, Corey King says, Mickey, well, let's go out to Corey again. No Lightning owner, but Rays team try that with the Red Sox fail. I don't know what you're talking about, Corey. Why are you giving your baseball team a hockey horn? Mike says, Rays, hold on. Coach, again, baseball will never be entertaining. The average attendance to Major League Baseball games is 1,500, and the average die-hard baseball fan is 70 years old. And once again, that's fake news.
Shut up!
Once again, that's fake news. That is not true at all. Cancel baseball, cancel culture, cancel you.
This guy sucks.
Let's go out to Roger Prime. You're an idiot. That is a great comment out there.
Flawless victory.
Great comments, Roger. Let's go out to Mickey here. Hi, Mike. What's going on? Corey says KK's age is 33 years old. Absolutely. Let's go out to this one. Larry says, is my new favorite Buck, Cody Mock, doing at guard? I mean, yeah, for me, I think he's going to get every opportunity for that competition, and it's going to be interesting to see who's going to start at those guard spots. But it certainly seems like from the comments from those coaches that it's going to be Tristan Wirfs on the left side, Matt Filer on the left guard side, Ryan Jensen at center, and then it's open. Is it Mock? Is he going to be the guy that's going to be the right guard? Is it going to be Hansy? Is it going to be someone else? Aaron Stinney. Everybody forgets about him. Quality backup, got hurt last year, coming off an injury. Could he be the guy? Nick Leverett, you forget about him. So I think that's the most exciting aspect of this team, this unit right now, is this offensive line. I think they're going to be a lot better than a lot of people anticipate, because Donovan Smith is no longer a part of it. So who's going to be your right tackle? Is it going to be Luke Gedeke? Is it going to be Hansy? Who is it going to be? You guys want to talk about the offensive line? Feel free. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get in, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. For me, that's the most exciting aspect of this team. It's not the wide receivers. It's not the quarterback, because you're going to focus on that. It is going to be that offensive line. That offensive line gets it done. The sky's the limit for this team, I'm telling you. Let's go out to Roger. Roger, let me
Acknowledge me.
You're on the Evolution tonight. What do you have to say here?
Okay, real quickly. This is to Coach Prime.
Yes.
Coach Prime Rib. Coach, if you can't put anything decent in the chat, don't put anything at all, because I'm about to ban you. I'm getting really tired of your crap.
Well, I mean, listen, he can troll all he wants to, but to say, he wants to read the comments, he's not providing anything at all that's worthwhile to read. I mean, I read it because we read it here on the Sports Web. We read your comments, whether you're trolling, whether it's stupid and ridiculous and idiotic, which it most likely always is. That's what we do. And I guess we lost Roger there. So, Roger, go ahead.
Yeah, man, it's just crazy. It just trolls and trolls and trolls. Try adding something to the show.
Yep, that's it. Like some super chats. I mean, if you want me to read your comments specifically, give to YouTube super chats right there. Give to Facebook stars.
If you want to, you're good at chatting. Why don't you call in and troll live?
There you go. Exactly. Absolutely.
It's not that hard.
Nope.
That's his, if he has minutes on his Obama phone.
Well, I don't know what kind of phone he's got, but he definitely doesn't
might not even have one. That's why he can't call.
Who knows? Who knows, Roger? What else do you want to talk about tonight?
Great job at the job today, brother. I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We dealt with the Karens, the Esthers, and the Winifreds pretty good today,
yes,
didn't
we did.
So
it was a Good show tonight. Keep it up, and I'll keep watching.
Thank you. Nothing else about your Chicago Bears? Nothing at all?
Not yet.
No?
I'm saving it.
No comments about LeBron James being down 0-3 and all that greatness nonsense being knocked off now? Not talking about that? No?
LeBron's done. He's done.
Okay. All right.
He's done.
All right, Roger.
He's not Jordan. He never will be.
No disagreement here, my friend. Anything else?
That's it, man.
All right. Appreciate you as always. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. So going back to it, Larry, it's a great comment. LinkedIn Live, thanks a lot for commenting. I love that unit. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what that unit can do this year. And I think that's where the competition is going to be had, not only at the quarterback situation, and we are for JP Peterson and Titus O'Neill. We interviewed him before about the Gator situation. He loves Kyle Trask. There's a lot of Gator fans out there that love Kyle Trask and think he's going to be the eventual starter. That is the competition that everybody is going to have their eye on. Who will replace Tom Brady? Will be Kyle Trask? Will be Baker Mayfield? I think it's going to be Mayfield, but again, I'm open to it. Rob Gronkowski thinks it's going to be Baker Mayfield. So we shall see. But that offensive line situation, it's definitely going to be able to work itself out, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I think it's going to be a better time because you're not going to ask this offensive line to do all the pass protecting that they did last year. You're going to ask them to be more balanced. They're going to be more physical at the point of attack. That's what you got to like about Cody Mock. You know, Jason Light has the type, right? Red hair, no teeth, physical at the point of attack. We talked about it. This is what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wanted to do in this draft. They wanted to get more physical. They wanted to get fast. We'll see if it works out, especially with this offensive line. So thanks a lot for the comment. Christopher Cole says, just because the team has to cheat to win doesn't mean that the Rays are. Heck, the Rays are winning without spending a lot of on players like other teams. You're exactly right. And again, I'm glad that the Rays are paying attention to this. You know, they're showing that they're human. They're not avoiding it. I don't want them to avoid it. I want them to continue to be told by national media that they're no good and that they're cheating. I want the national media to continue to put this narrative out there. How are they doing it? They're getting it done. And they're paying attention. I love it. I don't know how you not love it. Making shirts, getting invested. We talked about it. This team may have had a chip on their shoulder from last year with the embarrassing effort in the postseason. Not able to get hits, not able to get runs. I mean, yeah, they're professional baseball players, but they're also people. They're also humans. So you got to love the fact that they're making shirts and that they are so invested in this year. You got to love it. Of course, they go on to beat the Toronto Blue Jays tonight, 6-4. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. So not only talking about Rays tonight, but talking about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Give me your worst Greg Schiano memory. And the reason why we mention this is because the comments and care of Pro Football Talk and Joe Bucs Fan. Greg Schiano confesses he wasn't prepared. How are you not prepared to take a National Football League job? Tell me, how are you not prepared?
This guy sucks.
And it showed on the field. It showed on the field with the players. It showed with the record how bad they were. In fact, I'll tell you what. Let's go back into the time machine here. Let's go back to this video. You have to excuse the sound. You have to excuse the lighting because at the time I was just starting out the Spider's Web. It wasn't the Sports Web at first. It was the Spider's Web. But this was my take on Greg Schiano on the evolution of sports talk television. Here we go.
The Spider's Web, I'm Peter Blake. Thank you very much for tuning in. And after Thursday night's loss to the Carolina Panthers 31-13, it's time for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to fire Greg Schiano. Look, Schiano has turned the Buccaneers into a daily soap opera.
Again, I apologize for the sound at the time because I was actually doing it off my cell phone and just starting out, and I thought it was really good. You know what was really good? The couch was really good, okay? The shot was absolutely pathetic. But, just listen to the thoughts. Here we go.
Young and the worthless. And consequently, that's been his record in the last 13 games. A stellar 1-12. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now are laughing.
1-12.
Shut up!
Stock. They're a dysfunctional team. And it's because of Schiano's handling of the Josh Freeman situation to the team's regression on the field.
Well, the team's regression on the field, there was no discipline of this team, right? I mean, who could forget the Giants situation? Do you remember that? When they stayed competitive in that Giants game and they were about to lose, and they told their players on the kneel down to attack the offensive lineman's knees. Who could forget that?
Shut up!
And then Josh Freeman. The quarterback that had what was it, 27-6 a year like that? Was it 25-6, 27-6? His interception, the touchdown ratio, and then they draft Mike Glennon. They're not able to develop Josh Freeman, whether it was off the field problems, which it certainly looked like it was. Greg Schiano did not like Josh Freeman, and there's a lot of Freeman fans out there that were disappointed with that aspect.
To his disregard for this fan base. It's time for this organization to do what's right.
I want to go back to that, the disregard for the fan base, because I was talking to somebody tonight on I Love St. Pete, and they basically told me in so many words, they greeted Greg Schiano, and he basically just ignored them. So, you know what? It all worked out for that fan, for the fans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, how can you be a new coach of a new team and basically ignore the fan base that is basically trying to embrace what you're putting out there? How does that work?
You mean to tell me that 26 coaches on this staff couldn't at least get one win with the talent on this team? A Butch Davis or Dave Wannstedt?
Yeah, and that's what I got told when I was putting this video together before the fact when he got hired. Well, they're going to have Dave Wannstedt and Butch Davis, and all these coaches are going to definitely make things better, and it actually made it worse.
It's time for the Glazers to do what's right, not only for this franchise, but also for this fan base. The fan base is tired of it. They're tired of the coaching decisions, and they're tired of the drama. Okay? So at this point...
Well, speaking of drama, it was not only the Freeman situation, but wasn't there also MRSA going on at the time? Who could forget that?
This guy sucks.
Sorry.
For the Glazers, they need to do something that they should have did in 2013. They need to restore hope. And in doing that, they need to fire Greg Schiano.
There you go. So that's it. So that's what I thought back then. I still think the same thing. I mean, could he possibly be the worst coach in Buccaneer history besides John? And like you think about it, right? I mean, people say, well, John McKay, the first 2 year expansion team. Also, don't forget that Buccaneer team in their third year, fourth year, they went to the playoffs? Playoffs, yes. 1979 NFC Championship game. I mean, at least you had some winning seasons there. You didn't have all the drama that you had with that team. Right? Lehman Bennett, yeah. Ray Perkins, bad football if you're a Bucs fan. I'm an old school guy. I remember that. But with all the drama that you had with MRSA and Josh Freeman and toes on the line and this and that, I mean, could Greg Schiano be considered the worst coach in Bucs history after these comments? Not just what he put on paper with the body of work, because it's god-awful. Much like Urban Meyer. Maybe not as bad as Urban Meyer. Probably as bad as Urban Meyer. Probably worse than Urban Meyer. What do you think? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-0009. 7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Want to go back out to those comments. Again, he never sought an interview with Team Glazer. Goes on to say, I didn't, quite honestly. The job offer did come to me. Quite honestly, I wanted to be at Rutgers. So he would rather be at Rutgers than take the Tampa Bay Buccaneer job. He says, the rest of my career, I built a house half a mile from here. I was going to stay here for the rest of my career, but then our league fell apart. He says, from 2002 on, I was trying to get Rutgers into the Big Ten. It was very hard to do, right? Poor Jim Delaney, every time he saw me coming, it was like, oh, God, he's a Jersey guy. So I would always try to play the Jersey, Jersey sentimental. I really thought it was happening, and then it fell through, and I really felt trapped. And all of a sudden, we were not going to have a league. I was sitting in my office in Tampa, palm trees blowing outside the window, and people would say, it doesn't get better than that, right? They called me from Rutgers and said, guess what? We just got invited to the Big Ten. I did my best to be excited for them, but I hung up the phone and literally started crying. He's an NFL coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's crying because Rutgers finally got into the Big Ten. I mean, do I need to say anything more? I mean, can you see the frustration? Can you hear the frustration? Are there Bucs fans out there who feel the same way? I know there are. I saw the Facebook post. I know some of the comments. Get on the phone line. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, the other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. If you think I'm rambling on about this, I'm not. I'm just bringing it up. Those are bad memories for me. I remember being on radio during that time. I remember watching those games and being told how wrong I was about how Greg Schiano was going to turn things around. Yeah, right. So there is a personal aspect to this for me tonight. All right. Let's see. Rob says Byron would have been better with a healthy O-line. That's possible. I just think there's too many distractions, Rob, around this team. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I think a lot of people are looking at it and saying, well, you lost Tom Brady, and you lost this player, and you lost that player, and you're going to be worse because you were no better than last year. Every year is different. The National Football League means not for long. Just because you're bad one year doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be bad the next. It also goes the same way. Just because you're good one year doesn't necessarily mean you're going to continue that unless, of course, you're the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Just saying. I don't rule that team out at all. I mean, they did it without Tyreek Hill last year. Great coaching, Andy Reid. Great player like Patrick Mahomes. We'll see how it works out this year for him. I'm not going to rule him out. But as far as the Bucs, yeah, did they have a disappointing year last year? Yeah, 8 wins. You still win the division. The division is up for grabs, in my opinion. Who's the team that you think is sticking out right now besides the New Orleans Saints and Derek Carr? Besides them, is that the team? Is that the biggest competition for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team? In your opinion? We'll see. They've always been a thorn in the Bucs side, haven't they? We'll see if Derek Carr can stay healthy. Here, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, my co-host, says he watches film. He thinks there's something wrong with Derek Carr and his arm strength. He thinks he's dealing with an injury. Could it be? This team is going to be without Alvin Kamara. I mean, what are the Atlanta Falcons? Desmond Ridder? Who? What else? Bijan Robinson as a rookie? Yeah, okay. They've got some weapons there. Kyle Pitts has been disappointing. Did they improve enough on their defense? We'll see. Right? They were playing tough last year. They beat the Bucs the last game. A lot of people put a lot of credence in it. Didn't mean anything. Didn't mean squat. That game didn't mean anything. What does that mean? Who knows about Desmond Ridder? He does it. Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. Rookie quarterbacks that don't always translate to the National Football League. got a talented defense? Do they have enough on offense? Adam Thielen is going to take the spot of DJ Moore. What are you doing at running back at that situation? Miles Sanders, can he stay healthy? I mean, that's your division overall right now. That's your division. I mean, and I think a lot of people forget that the Bucs still have a lot of talent on this team on both sides of the ball. Do they not? I mean, let's just not act like, this is the Sisters of the Poor or something. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So there you go. All right. Gary says his arm is done. He's thrown so many balls short last year with wide receivers open. I think that's also, just frustration, not wanting to be hit. Talk to JP about it. Not wanting to be hit. Plays dead. Got pressure in your face. You don't want to have that injury. You're tired of getting beat up. It's not just a physical thing. It's a mental thing. I also go back to this. When an athlete wants to retire, it's not always necessarily the best thing to come back because their mind already halfway is telling them that they want to retire. And there were so many distractions on this team last year. What if I told you, Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of 2023 are going to be like the 2022 Seattle Seahawks? And that you lose a Russell Wilson and everybody leaves you for dead, but they turn around Baker Mayfield. The defense plays better. You finally get a running attack. Seattle had a running attack last year with Ken Walker. Maybe you get that with your running back and Rashard White. You still have Evans on this team. You still have Godwin. You still have Gage. And you have a defense that wants to prove themselves. And you also have a linebacker who has lots of controversy, who continues to tweet out, who has something to prove for that second contract. So what if I told you that the Bucs could be this year's version of the Seattle Seahawks from last year? I'm just saying, throwing it out there. Maybe they're better without Tom Brady. Is it that crazy to think about? I mean, we've said other things, other crazy things on this show before. I'm not going to stop there. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. I think he's done. And that was the news of the night. Again, going back to it, Mark Davis tells ESPN's Paul Gutierrez, we have come to an agreement for Tom Brady to become a partner in the Raiders, and we have submitted it to the NFL for approval. We're excited for Tom to join the Raiders. It's exciting because he will just be the third player in history of the National Football League to become an owner. So if you're a Raiders fan, are you excited about that? Tom Brady being associated with your organization, the greatest of all time. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to play quarterback for your team. I'm not saying that. I'm not applying that. I know that's going to be thrown out there ad nauseum. Oh, he's going to come back to the Raiders as soon as Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt. I'm not ready to say that. But to have the greatest of all time associated with your franchise is pretty significant. I mean, does that turn the Raiders around? Can they be saved? Can Josh McDaniels turn it around? Can they turn that team around with Kansas City in there and Los Angeles and Denver with Sean Payton as the new coach? We'll see. You got to love it. You got to definitely love the National Football League coming in here in the next couple months. Coach Prime says MLB is fixing games for the Raiders to win. It's all a part of MLB's plan to attract more fans and media attention so they can use our tax money to build a new stadium. We don't care about.
This guy sucks.
Roger says, hopefully no Mancini tonight, but he will be with us on Wednesday night, Turnbuckle Talk. So there you go.
Shitter!
Let's go out to Rob here. Mersa was the worst, was it not? I mean, who knows what that was? That was going around the locker room and seemed like it was the whole administration at the time with all the coaches and all the misdirection and decisions and toes on the line and doing all this other crazy stuff. Christopher Cole says national media believes that Brady was the only reason we won the Super Bowl, and I hope that we win 12 to 13 games next season. Harry the Greek came on this program and told you there's certainly a possibility to win 10 to 13 games with this team the way they are constructed right now. Not my words, his words. Because he feels like the emphasis being put on the running game is going to make the most difference. That's what this team was missing last year. That's kind of what Peter King was saying. We'll get to those comments in just a moment about why he has that team ranked the way they are. 31st, and he's not back down from that. Does that make a difference? It doesn't, because when toe meets leather, which, by the way, congratulations to Gene Deckerhoff for being back for his 35th year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a great thing. I think that kind of surprised a lot of people because many fans out there assumed that he was hanging it up, that he was going to be done because he retired from Florida State. But nope, he's going to come back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So there you go. And I hope you're right. I hope they do win 12 to 13 games. You know, do I think this team is a Super Bowl team? No, of course not. Do I think they're a playoff team? Yeah, I think they can be. I think they can be a lot better than a lot of people envision. And I think it's easy. I think it's also a lazy take to sit here and say, well, Tom Brady's no longer a part of this team, so this team is done. They're dead. You know, collapse for Caleb Williams. Let's go out there and get Caleb Williams from USC. I know there's a lot of a fan base out there that says, go out there, lose every game you can. It doesn't always work out that way. Even though he's a tremendous prospect and has been compared to Patrick Mahomes, which it seems like every quarterback at the end of the day is going to be compared now to Patrick Mahomes. You know, every quarterback before then is going to be compared to Tom Brady. Every quarterback before then is going to be compared to Peyton Manning. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to end up that way. You know, comparisons are asinine. We'll see how the kid performs for USC. I know there's a lot of fans out there that want to see this as a lost season. I'm not one of them. I'm not. I think there's hope this team can win. I think there's hope that this team can win a division. I think the division is wide open, and I think they may surprise some people. Maybe I'm the eternal optimist, but I'd rather be an eternal optimist than being pessimistic. Just saying. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. My question for the night, give me your worst Greg Schiano memory. I think it's pretty easy. We've gone through that before, have we not? We can go through it again. All right. Peter, would you make a move for Dylan Cease to shore up the rotation? Anything at this point, if it takes shoring up the rotation, and you may have to give up some prospects, and I'm okay with that. They're not my prospects, they're not my players, but I'll go back to this. A lot of people will say, well, you're giving up a prospect. Okay. I'm glad you said that. Because you go back, I don't know, about 10 years ago, the Rays are able to make they're looking to make a trade for Cliff Lee. People say, we're going to give up Desmond Jennings. Okay, we'll give up Desmond Jennings. No, we're going to keep Desmond Jennings. What's Desmond Jennings? Is he the next Carl Crawford? No, he's not. He's a prospect. You know, sometimes you have to give up some prospects in order to get some arms in there to put you all over the top. I'm okay with that. You know, and the Rays, they're not okay with that. They're not always okay with that. They win a lot of their trades. They've been wrong on some of those trades. We'll see how Tyler Glasnow comes back if he can stay healthy, because that'll be a big addition to that rotation. But if you have to make a trade at the deadline to get another arm or another bat, and you decide to pass because you don't want to give a prospect, I'm sorry. I think you're missing out. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. It's a good question there, Pig Dog. We'll see how this Rays team works out for the rest of the year. To the chagrin of Coach Prime here, Rays need to move to Sun City Center. A ton of people who are 70 years old or older. We millennials in Tampa and Central Florida don't care about no boring sport like baseball, and yet All night long, Coach Prime. And it's all you've been talking about, my friend. All you have been talking about.
This guy sucks.
You know, I love that because you get on social media and you say, I don't care about something. I posted it yesterday on I Love St. Pete, John Morant. What do you think about it? Oh, this is not, I don't care about this. I'm going to respond to it. I'm going to have like 2,000 or 3,000 comments that I don't care about. Then just scroll along. You don't have to write on it. Just scroll along if you want to. If you don't want to participate, go participate somewhere else if you don't care. But you do care because you continue to come back night after night here, Coach Prime. And you do care because it's compelling commentary when we talk about the Tampa Bay Rays, when we talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and not your Pittsburgh Steelers or whatever team you're representing this week. I don't know, man. I think you got like, bipolar or something, multiple personalities or something. I don't know. Hey, Pig Dog, good to see you. Thank you very much, Roger. Appreciate it. Christopher Cole says Michael Bennett. There you go. Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett. When I say that name, it pisses me off. You know why? Because at the time when I was at the radio station and I was told by Steve White, once again, rest in peace, I was able to do a draft show with him as an analyst. He would break things down. He did it for, multiple publications, and he was great at it. And, of course, he had first interception in that NFC Championship game. The third play of the game on Kurt Warner? Best show on turf, and he gets an interception. Who could forget that? I didn't. And he said, he swore, and this is when he was doing a show with Sean King. This is how far I go back to this. He said Michael Bennett was the best pass rusher on this team and that this defense would be better off to give him a chance, and they never gave him a chance. And when they did give him a chance, he was productive. He showed flashes of brilliance. But the administration at the time decided not to re-sign him. Why? Because he had a shoulder injury. And then he went on to Seattle, and he was productive there, and Chicago, and multiple teams. And he was a pass rushing nightmare, and the Bucs were still looking for one till that day. That's how disappointing it was. So definitely remember Michael Bennett. Thank you very much, Christopher Cole. Pete, do you think Punk is coming back to AEW for the inaugural Collision on June 17th? Yes, I do. I mean, if they announce that in Chicago and they don't have CM Punk a part of it, then what are we talking about? Like, who cares? You got a third show, and all the hoopla was, well, CM Punk is going to be a part of it, but all of a sudden we're not going to do it because we don't want to hire his compadre Ace Still. Hire the guy. I mean, you've already given the company to CM Punk. That's the reason why you have the third show in the first place. So you committed to it. You committed all to this. I mean, what are we talking about here? He's a guy that improves your ratings. I get it. He may be a pain in the ass, but that's a pain in the ass you could take. CM Punk is a hell of a wrestler at the end of the day. And he could sell, and he could be on the mic, and he's a guy that AEW needs to build around. Just my opinion. So do I think he comes back? Yeah, I think he comes back. If he doesn't, monumental mistake by Tony Khan and the rest of AEW. And I think it sells. I think, you're talking about it. I'm talking about it. We're going to talk about it on a Turnbuckle Talk on Wednesday night because it sells. There's heat there. There's something there. You're going to watch it because there's a backstory. You don't have to sell this. It's already selling itself. So, yeah, you got to bring him back. All right, Coach Prime, ban me. This isn't even a show. Peter said his shows are boring and contemplates quitting it when I'm not around. Well, that's not true at all. That's fake news.
This guy sucks.
Roger says, yes, Punk will be there. He's got legal papers from Warner Media that he has to show up. That's right. So is there a possibility, Pig Dog, and others out there asking this question, which is a good question at the end of the day, right? It's a good question. It's a question that needs to be asked. Could this be a part of a storyline? I definitely think it's a part of a storyline. You know why? Because you're talking about it. That's the best way. Create some controversy, right? So what did Eric Bischoff say? Controversy creates cash, right? That's what AEW is trying to do. All right. Especially Warner's talking to him. If Warner signed off on this deal to have a third show for CM Punk and CM Punk doesn't show up, yeah, that's not going to be good.
Shut up!
I want to say you have an awesome podcast, Peter. You're welcome, everyone. Mickey, absolutely welcome, everyone. And we don't call this a podcast because podcasts are recorded. I do podcasts. You can make mistakes on them and go back to editing. We call this the evolution of sports talk television. Is it a television show? Is it a radio show? You could call in. You could text in. You definitely need to tune in. If you want to call in, the phone lines are open. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's go out to Coach Prime. Harry and Leo didn't show up tonight because they didn't want to talk baseball. No, they had other plans, and they didn't want to deal with your nonsense.
This guy sucks.
Let's go out to Coach Prime again. Peter in his suit when he was 20 years old. It seems like it, right? I mean, look at this, man. Can I go back to that?
For another edition of the Spider's Web, I'm Peter Blake.
Yep, there you go. There is the shirt and tie right there. Wearing pink. Terrible lighting. Horrible lighting. But you know what? When you start out, you don't know everything you think you know, right? I mean, you get on this mic and you say, well, you know, all I got to do is get on my cell phone and have poor lighting and have poor audio, and it's going to work out, and everybody's going to love me, and they're going to give me a job tomorrow. And it just does not work out that way, does it? No. It doesn't work out that way. That's what you see with the evolution. A podcast, you can make that work. You know, it takes some work, but this is the evolution of sports talk television. It's a little bit different. A little bit more of an investment here on this side. So I appreciate you as always. I was not 20 years old, but I did look like I was 20 years old. So I appreciate that, Coach. That's Coach Prime. It's actually a good comment.
Victory.
I remember when you filmed that video. I do. I know you remember that. You're one of my biggest fans, and I appreciate that, Roger. Thank you.
Acknowledge me.
Hi, Rob Thompson. How are you? Mickey is a friendly guy, so everybody friend Mickey. Christopher Cole says, dang, I forgot Mercer. You forgot Mercer? You also forgot the kicker at the what was it? Was it Tynes at the time? Was that the kicker? That whole situation? I bet Bijan Robinson, a rookie, will have a better year than the overrated Rashard White. Well, we should see. We shall see what happens, right? Because everybody's banking on Robinson's going to be the rookie of the year, that he's a generational talent. Do they have enough in Atlanta with that offensive line? We'll see. A lot of pressure on that kid. You know, Tyler Algier was not too bad last year. Could they have gone a different direction? I think they could have. But they didn't. So they went with Robinson. So we'll see how that works. Roger says, Bucs will be horrible unless we get the Holy Trask. All right. Well, that's your opinion.
This guy sucks.
Coach Prime says, tank for Caleb 2024. I've heard a lot of that there, Coach Prime. Who's Greg Schiano? Laugh out loud. Roger Shue with the $20. Great show. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Coach Slime. I like that. That's actually good.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Mickey. Just wait for the baseball trade. The Oakland A's will have a lot of players to give up. I mean, it certainly looks like they're going to be in a fire sale. So we'll see how that transpires. We'll see how many teams are out. I mean, we talked about the Mets. They have a big-time payroll, and they have struggled mightily, and they continue to struggle. Maybe they get rid of. You just never know at the trade deadline. I'm just saying from this point forward, if you're the Tampa Bay Rays and you're in it to win it, like the Bucs, in it to win the Super Bowl, go all in. The Tampa Bay Lightning, in it to win the Stanley Cup. If you want to win a World Series championship, I would hope and I would pray that the Rays would make a trade at the deadline if they need an extra arm, an extra bat to go all in. I think it goes a long way. All right, so good stuff. Mickey says, okay, sorry. Jeremiah, hello, everyone. What's going on? Shadow.
Oh, yeah.
That couch was so comfortable. It definitely was comfortable. All right, other news here, and we'll wrap this up for the night. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. We'll be back on Wednesday night with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Of course, the legend Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. Probably some other guests. And, of course, Turnbuckle Talk with Mark Mancini, Ralph Williams, of course, newest personality in Pittsburgh, and, of course, J.C. Allen of Pewter Report. On Monday, NFL owners approved a new rule that will allow flexing of Thursday night football games between weeks 13 and 17 during the regular season. Teams must be given 28 days notice. So there you go. What about that? Do you care about Thursday night football? I mean, I don't like Thursday night football. I think it's worse. I think it's an abomination. I mean, I don't think anything about it is good at all. I love Amazon Prime. I think the presentation is fine. I just think teams are tired. And I think some of the teams they put on there are not very entertaining. So this is the reason why the NFL is coming out with this rule. You got to give a team 28 days of notice. Wow. How does that work out? We'll see. So, yeah, the owners have voted 20, looks like here. Owners on Thursday night flexed the schedule. They voted something along the lines of 28 to 4. Excuse me, 24 votes. So it was 24 exactly. So 24 to 8 to get that done. They got it done. So that is the new rule in the National Football League. Also, in other news in the National Football League today, the San Francisco Bay Area has officially been awarded Super Bowl 60 in a vote by the NFL owners on Monday. Levi Stadium in Santa Clara will host the game in 2026, which NBC will televise. They say the Bay Area was an incredible host for Super Bowl 50, and we are thrilled to bring the Super Bowl back. Roger Goodell said in a statement, we look forward to working with the 49ers Bay Area Host Committee to create an impactful Super Bowl 60 in 2026 that showcases all the great things that the region has to offer. What about Tampa? How about Super Bowl 55? How was that, Bucs fans? Did you like that Super Bowl? Should the Bay Area get the Super Bowl back? It would be nice, but it's going to be in San Francisco in 2026. Again, the vote was 24 to 8 on that. This is one thing that I've been disappointed about, and I think the NFL has really missed it. I mean, you have the NFL draft in Chicago. You have the NFL draft next year in Detroit. You had the NFL draft in Kansas City. Why not have it here in Tampa? And yet the announcement today is that Green Bay will have the 2025 NFL draft. The draft has become our biggest offseason event, hosted in different cities and spectacular locations across the country. We are excited to work with the Packers and Discover Green Bay to bring the 2025 NFL draft to Green Bay, an iconic Lambeau Field. So there you go. So once again, Tampa Bay shut out from the NFL draft process. Disappointing to say the least. Let's see here. See you tomorrow at work, Pete. Meeting at 10. Wrong. Meeting is at 9.
This guy sucks.
That's how I know we don't work together. We don't work together at all because you would know that I have a meeting at 9 and I also have a meeting at 10. 2 Zoom meetings right there, Coach Prime. Nice try, my friend. Open phone lines if you want to call up anything you want to talk about tonight, whether it's your Tampa Bay Rays as they go on to beat the Blue Jays 6-4. Definitely on the edge of our seats there watching the game. Yours truly along with JP Peterson. Hopefully Pete Fairbanks, not blowing that game, because that's going to be one of the things you need to watch with this Tampa Bay Rays team as they defeat the Blue Jays 6-4. A part of this 10-game homestand. Of course, took 2 out of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's go back to Peter King here, talking about the Bucs and how he ranked them 31st overall. And this is in care of Joe Bucs fan. The defense better play better because the offense is going to struggle. I think because I still don't know what has been done for a team that might have the worst rushing game in the NFL last year. He also says, I think the team has a lot of holes, and it would be one thing if the guys on the front 7 were coming off of all great years, but I don't think they are. They certainly do have the resumes to throw it out there on the field on opening day to be better. than they were at the end of last year, so they might be. Little optimistic there. Little positivity at the end of the statement. Maybe they can do it. Maybe they don't. They're not having guys that defensively are that good. We talked about it. Shaq Barrett coming off an injury. We'll see what the impact of that is going to be. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Are they able to draft guys in there that are faster, that are going to challenge? What's Kalaiza Cansey going to do? What's Vita Vea going to do? Is this defense going to be able to get after the quarterback consistently enough? I think the back end is good enough, but I think, again, your back end is only as good as what you do up front by getting after the quarterback. With that being said, let me go out to this final story here, and we will wrap it up for the night, as it's been another great edition of the Sports Web. Whether you're calling or not and texting, I really appreciate you. As always, Gronkowski was on the Kay Adams show, Up and Adams, and gave advice to Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. Listen to this. With all the inflation of quarterback salaries, Lamar Jackson getting paid, of course, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Jalen. We talked Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, all these guys getting big-time contracts. And Gronkowski says you take a quarterback-friendly deal. Where's the difference between 40, 47, 48 million or 53 to 54 when the next highest guy on your team only is getting paid in their 20s? There's already that big of a difference between your pay and the next highest paid guy on your team. So who cares? Follow the Brady blueprint, right? It has worked out for Tom Brady. That's the reason why the New England Patriots were able to stay competitive for so many years, because he was taking less money. He wasn't following the market. Don't get me wrong. Did it help that he married a supermodel? Absolutely. But, it's a mindset. Even before then, he was taking less money because he knew that the most important thing at the end of the day was to stay competitive and stay in Super Bowl contention. And that's what's you're gonna have to look out for. What is the impact of all these big time contracts by these NFL quarterbacks? What are they going to do to those teams? How are they going to hinder them? What kind of players are they going to lose? We've already seen the impact, right? Aaron Rodgers getting big time money from the Green Bay Packers. Devontae Adams packing his bags. Patrick Mahomes getting a big time contract. Guess what? Tyreek Hill traded. Dak Prescott, there's a quarterback right there. Amari Cooper gone to the Cleveland Browns. We've seen this. So Gronkowski trying to give us some advice. He goes on to say, I'm waiting for a quarterback to do that kind of thing, go down the Brady route. Not as much as Brady route. I mean, he was taking 50% discounts, which we don't even get at the pro shop in New England. So yeah, good stuff by Rob Gronkowski, as always. Kind of shedding some light on what we talk about on this show on a Monday and Wednesday night, right? We talk about it all the time, the Brady blueprint. When are quarterbacks going to really follow that? We'll see what happens this year and what the impact is of all these quarterbacks getting big-time pay raises and what they're going to do to the team. Because once you get that big-time contract, then that window, it closes a little bit. That's the reason why when you've got a team and a rookie quarterback, you've got to eventually win a Super Bowl on that rookie contract. Because once that second contract comes up, then you're getting paid big-time market value. And then on top of that, there's a possibility to lose a lot of players on that team. Thanks a lot to JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show, which can be seen and heard here on YouTube and Facebook every day from 10 to 12. We'll be back on Wednesday night. Like and follow the Sports Web on YouTube, please. Like I Love St. Pete, the Hub, and Amped Up Sports. And do three things for me on this Monday night after your Tampa Bay Rays beat the Toronto Blue Jays 6-4. You know them, you love them, you got to have them. Words to live by. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for the Tampa Bay sports fan and fan of the Sports Web, it's your time. See you on Wednesday night.